Hi, we're the fifth grade STEM team. My name is Mr. Gardner,
I'm Miss Becker.
I'm Mr. Berger.
and this is our welcome video for open house. Although, welcome at this time of year is maybe.
Into our last final stretch of the school year.
We got a couple of talking points to go over. So, I guess the first one that I think wanted to talk about was something that we've kind of learned as an educator this year. So I'm going to go with being patient. Just knowing that sometimes things don't work out as well as you'd hope they would work out, and just making sure you take some time to relax and just let everything fall into place.
Going off that, trying to be flexible and kind of keeping a positive mindset. I know this year has been very different than any other school year, so trying to give your best effort, try as hard as you can, and know that mistakes are okay along the way.
And I would just say that it kind of combines those, but as an educator for myself, I learned a little bit about time management and how to plan things out just a little bit in more detail so that people that don't have the same background that I have can still understand those things, and that students can understand those things, and hopefully that translated into good learning for you as well.
So just to give parents a little bit more of an overview of things that we've covered this year. So obviously we teach math, social studies, and science. So math this year we've covered everything from fractions all the way through to
Face value.
and
Addition, subtraction, multiplication, division.
and some decimals have been thrown in there and a whole bunch of other stuff in between. But then our social studies this year, we studied the Great Fire of, the
Great
Chicago
Chicago
Fire, and a little bit of fire safety thrown in there.
We did some kind of a combination science and social studies unit where we dealt with ecosystems and earth systems and environmental issues.
Yep, and then for science, we did a space project, a unit on that. And going forward, we're going to be taking a look at some ecosystems in our next coming unit as well.
And yes, owl pellets will be dissected before the end of the year.
Yeah.
And we're looking forward to that. That'll be super fun.
We thought we'd also share a couple of tips for parents and for kids as well moving forward. Seems though you guys are fifth graders only have 2 months left of being in McDowell before you get ready to move on to middle school. So I don't know if Miss Becky, you want to kick it off with your tip?
One of the tips that I have is to make sure that you are being organized. I know next year, heading into the middle school, you're going to have your own locker, so you're going to have your own personal space, and I know that's very exciting to decorate and have all of that, but it's not going to be helpful unless you know where everything is. So kind of at the tail end of this year, we want to make sure that everything is in the right spot. If you open your math folder, you don't have ELA materials in there, and that will help start you off and get ready for that middle school transition.
And I think another important thing going forward for both fourth and fifth, but especially for fifth, is that self-advocacy piece. So if you need help with something, we as teachers want to help you. So if you need help, just ask for help. Or if there's something that you're curious about or you don't understand, making sure that you ask when you don't understand or when you need the help instead of later. That could even be a thing like at a recess. If you're having an issue at recess, talk to the monitors, stand up for yourself and ask questions for yourself, and that'll serve you really well going forward into the middle school as well.
And to follow on from that, you guys are going to be going off to middle school in 2 months. So I think one of the biggest pieces of advice we give you is to, have fun and enjoy these last 2 months. I'm sure if we could, we would go back and do it all over again, because these are some of the best times of your life, and you've got to make sure you take advantage of every last minute here. And even more so when you get into middle school. Just take every opportunity you can and just have fun with it. And in the theme of having fun, we thought that we would change things up from like a regular interview welcome message, and we'd actually have the kids ask some questions. So we sent out a Google form before spring break, and we said to the kids, any questions you want to ask us as teachers, and we're gonna pick a couple and see if we can answer them.
All right, we'll go ahead first. What do you like to do when you get home from work? What do you like to do when you get home from work? I'll answer that.
Sure. So, most of my homeroom students know that I love to read and I love to write. I also love nature, so I like to build things, I like to garden. So those are some of the things that I do when I go home.
Yeah, my students will know that I have a young dog, so first thing I do as soon as I get home is I go and take him for a walk. Doesn't matter if it's raining, snowing, or 80 degrees out, he's got to go for a walk as well. So that's the first thing that I do whenever I get home.
Yeah, similar to Mr. Gardner, I also like to get out and exercise, especially with this warm weather that we've been having. Some of my students know I walk around the neighborhood, or I like to go to Peck Farm in Geneva, Batavia, and walk around there as well. Let's see. Ooh, what is your favorite food?
Oh, that kind of depends.
This one's a tough one.
My general favorite food is kind of anything with carbs. I'm a carnivore. I love bread, I love pasta. So I would say in general, if it's got dough, I'm all about it.
Yeah, I get asked by my kids quite often, like, what's the biggest thing you miss food-wise from England? And I gotta say, like, a good meat pie, like, or fish and chips. Oh yeah, anything with carbs. Yeah, that's pretty much your carbs.
I'm gonna continue off of that. I'm Italian, so I love lasagna, love pasta. So lasagna is my favorite meal, though. I'd have to go with lasagna for sure. Let's see. There was a question, how long have you been teaching? And I know we kind of have a range here on our team.
So we'll start with the longest, probably. This is my 15th year at McDowell. I actually started out teaching computers. I taught computers the first 4 years that I was here, and I've been teaching 4th and 5th since then. But I taught 10 years in Iowa before that, so I'm just finishing up my 25th year teaching.
Wow. So I'm in the middle of the park. I've been teaching, I think this is my 7th or 8th year now. I've not really been counting. But teaching for 6 years in England, and then this is my 2nd year of teaching in McDowell.
And this is my 2nd year of teaching and the 2nd year here at McDowell. I actually was a student here at McDowell, so McDowell has been a familiar face. I actually had Mr. Berger for computers as well, and Mrs. Coons as my 5th grade teacher, so very nice to be here as well. This question is, what was your favorite vacation, but maybe we could do your favorite vacation or maybe a dream vacation.
Oh.
This one's a tough one.
Yeah. So my favorite vacation that I ever went on was I went to Ghana in Africa. My parents have a friend who lives over there, so we spent some time like going around to different villages and just like meeting different people. That was really cool. Like we went there during the rainy season, and it was crazy, like raindrops the size of golf balls. It was it was great. Not what you would expect in Africa, but it was an amazing trip.
I would say my favorite vacation My homeroom students know that I love Colorado, and I recently went there. Another favorite vacation I would say is San Francisco in California. That is a really cool city, a city like no other. So I really enjoyed that. Biking up on the bridge, the Golden Gate Bridge up there as well. I would say my dream vacation would probably be to either Greece or Italy.
And I would say my favorite vacation was back before my wife and I had children. We decided to pick up for 3 weeks, and we just drove out west. So we camped along the way, and we hit like Yellowstone and the Tetons, and kind of just did what we wanted to do. It was back before, you know, your MapQuests and your Google navigation, so we had old school maps, and that was a really fun vacation. I hope to at someday go to Germany. That's one of my bucket list destinations, so that's someday I want to go to Germany.
This question is pretty fun. What is something you are afraid of?
Oh, spiders. Like just straight up spiders. Doesn't matter if they're small, big. No, they just need to go.
Spiders. I would say getting stuck like on an elevator, that really would freak me out. Before I've gotten stuck on a roller coaster at Six Flags, I got stuck at the top of the giant drop. So heights I'm not as afraid of, I just don't like getting stuck on things. So I would say getting stuck in an elevator is a fear that I have.
And I would say needles. I do not like needles, even though I donate blood and get my vaccines and everything else. I don't like to see needles and surgery kind of stuff like that. That doesn't go well for me.
We're a really brave bunch, aren't we?
Yeah.
All right, and then do we want to do one last question of what
Sure.
inspired you to be a teacher?
Sure.
That's kind of a long ago question, isn't it?
Well, I can say when I was your age, I always was very adamant that I would not be a teacher because everyone in my family was a teacher. My dad was a teacher, my mom had been a teacher, both grandmothers, my brother, my sister, and I thought that's just not something I wanted to do. So I actually started out in engineering at the University of Iowa, and after kind of seeing the work that they would do and knowing that I would do a lot of stuff inside and at a desk, I decided I didn't want to do that, and I was a little bit more social than that, and kind of actually felt a calling to be a teacher after having said I was never be one. So, and I'm glad that I did. I still love it.
Yeah, I think like the getting a calling to be a teacher is exactly what it is. Like it's when like you do have to be inspired to become a teacher. I know that I bounced around a bunch of different jobs before I just settled on going to school to become a teacher. Someone that I coached rugby with, he was a teacher, and he said to just come along and spend some volunteer time in the school, and I did, and I fell in love with it. I was working with a young boy who had some real like social emotional issues, and he couldn't really speak, and it was great like going through that journey with him and teaching him how to say like words and how to like help him cope with certain situations, and that was really what made me want to become a teacher.
Awesome. I would say I played softball growing up as a young, probably 7 or 8, and as I was growing up, I began coaching, and I loved just being in that environment. Also, I've had really great influences of teachers, even some here at McDowell, and so it's very exciting to be here to inspire students and just to make them feel confident. That's something that's very rewarding. And it puts a smile on all of our faces, and you know, it's something, yeah, like a calling, and I am very glad that I am here, and I'm glad that I am a teacher, and I couldn't imagine doing anything else. So
yeah, so I think that's about it from us. One last thing, please make sure you go and check out the book fair. Mr. Chumley does an amazing job putting that on for everybody, and she's made everything virtual as well for us this time around. So please look out for some information coming in the open house slides all about the book fair. But yeah,
All right.
Alrighty.
Thank you
Thank
much.
you.
thank you.